Welcome to Inside the Tower fan debate. Today we discuss Moyes in or Moyes out, Beto or Barry. What's going on with Jack Grealish? Europe, is that a real possibility? Do we want Europe? We're going to debate it today and let us know what you think in the comments. Everyone's got a different opinion and that's what it's all about. So strap yourselves in. This is Inside the Tower fan debate.
I'm always in, and it's purely because, and I've seen there's obviously there's a lot of debate going on online of Moyes in, Moyes out, but I am firmly Moyes in because you've only got to look at where we were 18 months ago to where we are now, and it's night and day. There's no comparison. We're fighting relegation 4, 5, 6 seasons on the bounce. We're now still within a shout of Europe, and I just think it's crazy that people want to get rid of him. It might not be the nicest football in the world, but with eight, he's only had a season and a half, and we're literally fighting for Europe. I think it's crazy that people want to get rid of him. You only got to look at West Ham. You know, the grass ain't always greener. And if he was given the time at Man United, he'd be still there now flying, but he wasn't given the time. So I just think we'd be absolutely crazy to get rid.
I agree. I've got some frustrations with some of the things he does sometimes. I'm not going to lie, but like you say, in terms of where we were January last year, and then looking at where we are now, say with 4 games to go, with a really good chance of getting into Europe in any way at all, a good chance of getting sixth. In reality, I don't know why at this stage anyone would want rid of him. I think there's a question to be asked, I suppose, in terms of what it looks like in another season or two. But I think at the moment, I wouldn't want any change at the moment. I don't see what would be achieved by changing at the moment at all. I think he's done well enough to deserve to be certainly not being questioned, at least for certainly next season anyway, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'd be stupid to get rid of Moyes at the moment. We've got to give him another summer, give him some money, let him build the team that he really wants to build. He'll have seen improvements that he wants to see this season, and he'll see changes that he needs to make for next season. David Moyes is not new to management. David Moyes knows how to manage football teams, and he knows how to win things with football teams. Don't forget what he did with West Ham. And I just think at the moment, if we were to get rid of him, we'd be really, really daft. As we just touched on, where were we this time last season? Where are we now? Also listening to Keane Dewsbury Hall last night on Sky Sports. He was talking about how David Moyes has got a plan. He told them the plan at the beginning of the season, and they're exactly spot on for where David Moyes' plan is at the moment. So clearly he's happy with where he is. It's where he planned to be, and that all comes down to experience. So I think I think we keep David Moyes.
No, I'm all for Davy Moyes remaining in the club for a short period, shall we say? But I think we've got to be very careful what we do next. We've seen it with a lot of clubs over the last couple of years. Forest, Spurs are doing it now. Forest are just absolute different stratosphere in terms of how they manage a football club with that ownership model. United have done it over the past few years. Personally, I just think if there's a manager out there, I'm just going to throw a name out, Iraola, for instance, who has done a remarkable job with literally losing all his best players season upon season, and still they're above us. They're a better football team than us. They play better football. They look better in every aspect. I just think we've got to be very careful of living in the past because he did so good the first time. He did so good because he had no money to spend. We were a sell to buy club, and I don't know if we still are that anymore because we haven't really got the quality at the club, other than maybe Dewsbury Hall, Jamie Garner, Pickford, potentially Brantford, but he's injured all the time. So 2 or 3 players who we could sell to make a massive profit to then reinvest under Moyes. I'm not too sure his proven track record is that good in bringing in young up and coming players. Modern day, back in the day at Everton, yes, he did it. He brought in a lot of players from the low leagues.
Done
Jared
with West
Bowen's
Ham,
probably the only
just
one.
to try to put any done with West
Name
Ham
me
as Bowen.
name me five players he's brought at West Ham that are young other than Bowen. There's no one else, mate. There's
Yeah,
no
but
one
when he
else.
when he did buy them, they were young.
Tell me the five, because I can only think of one that's Bowen. That's just an example. I'm just going to put it
He
out there
brought
because I
Suchek
think
in
this
as
is
well, didn't he?
yeah, and he's not young, is he? He's
He's not
proven
young,
it.
yeah, but he's not young now. He would have been when he first brought them in.
But that's only two players, and Suchek again. We were linked with him. We're linked to old players now, and I don't see the point. I'm not against Moyes as I said, but his next season should be his last season, in my opinion, depending on where we go. Because if we're here this time next season, and what happened at West Ham happened, you speak to West Ham fans, we're all speaking for them. None of them want him back because the football wasn't good to watch. So that's where they're coming from. It's not good to watch now either, but that's because the ownership has decided who the manager's going to be, not the fans.
But
And that's where we have to just suck up, don't we?
Moyes has bought young players at West Ham. Kudos, Paquetá. There's been a few
Failed, mate.
players. I wouldn't say
Kudus failed, mate.
he got
And he
injured though,
failed
hasn't
at
he?
Spurs. Not at West Ham. He had one good season and he dropped off massively. And again, how much did Moyes have a say in who he brought in? Because that's the rumour now, is he's had a say in all the signings he made. Half of them haven't even played minutes, mate, other than Tierney Barry, because he's got no one else to play.
Well, then that leads me on. So I'm going to throw it out there now. You know my views on Barry or Beto, and this is one that's going to be debated. Barry or Beto?
It's funny, really, because I earlier in the season I couldn't have been more of the opinion that Barry was the better option. I do believe Barry has got potential in terms of I think he's got more technical ability than Beto. I think his touch is better. I think his hold up play and his ability to win the ball in the air is better than Beto's, but it's not good enough at this stage to counteract the fact that he doesn't seem to really want to play for Everton, which I think the biggest difference you see between him and Beto is that neither of them are particularly great, but Beto's got fire in his belly. Beto's got the desire to put himself in there, to make the runs, to do the pressing, to get to the ball in the 6 yard box and win it and get that goal like he did in the last game before against obviously that lot. And I think Barry wouldn't do that. He didn't do it on Saturday, and he may have a bit more technical ability, perhaps, but it's not enough to make up for the fact that he doesn't put it in enough. He doesn't seem to want to play. And I think since the incident at Arsenal, I definitely think he just doesn't seem interested.
Yeah.
And he's not good enough to carry that. You know what I mean? Some players can not look interested and not be that interested, be that good that they can get away with it, and he's not. So I think at the moment, without a shadow of a doubt, it's better. But I don't think going forward, I don't think we can carry that. We're missing too much.
I again, like Kev, start of the season, as you all know, I was arguing till I was blue in the face. You obviously were better when I was Barry. I could see something about him, but I can't forgive him after what happened in Arsenal. I can't forgive him for the fact that, again, like Kev said, there's no fight, there's no want to be in a blue shirt. He doesn't want to be here. Um, the game after the Arsenal game, he went straight down the tunnel, didn't acknowledge the fans. So for me, it's better all day. You know, he might not be the most amazing player in the world, but if I was to get rid of one now in the summer, unfortunately it'd be Tierney. But yeah, I'm fully behind Beto now. He's always, you know, he might not be the best. He tries his hardest all the time, and us as Everton fans, all we ever want to see is players giving 100% all the time, and he's definitely one that does it. So again, I'm gonna have to agree with Kev. It's not much of a debate tonight. It's better for me.
For me, it's yeah, I'd want to keep Beto as well. For me, I don't know what it is with Barry. I don't know if he's just after an easy ride somewhere. He seems to go from team to team. And although he's only a young lad, you don't often see young players doing that. Everton at the moment have not got a proven goal scorer, and we need a proven goal scorer. When Barry first joined us, I thought we potentially may have had something with him. give him a few games, give him some game time, but then give him time around the team, give him game time. But I just feel as if he's kind of going backwards, and I almost feel as if he just wants an easy ride somewhere. Doesn't want to put the hard work in. Doesn't seem to want to chase balls. Doesn't want to press. If the ball's not given to him on a plate, he's not interested. Whereas Beto, he will make the runs. He's trying to score. We've seen it a couple of times this season. The goalkeeper spilled it. Beto's there to tap it in. We've not seen anything like that from Barry. And I just wonder if there's something else going on in the background that we're not aware of with Barry. I could be wrong, but I've just got a question mark over that as well.
I speak to Chris quite often, obviously, and usually Barry pops up, even if we're talking about nothing to do with football. Tierney Barry pops up somewhere. Listen, he's a young man. We just spoke about this in terms of having the right fit at a club. Sometimes it doesn't work out. We've seen it with Moise Keane in the past, very similar in a way. But arguably he came from a better system for Juventus, which is where he ended back up. He's doing pretty well at Fiorentina, for example. Time pays dividends, right? In every walk of life, and football players no different. Sometimes you've got to suck it up and accept that after 32 games in the Premier League, 6 goals is not a great return, but there's a handful of players who are doing the same thing, and 27.5 million there or thereabouts is not a lot of money in this day of age to come from Villarreal, who are Champions League, playing a different style of football. I just think if you're going to sell him, try and break even, sound happy days, and then if he goes on to do something bigger and better, then there's that same old kind of situation you see on social media. Oh, what have we done? We've wasted him. We've got rid of it. Let's blame the manager. Let's blame the model the club has. I think if Moyes is here next season, he'll be a bit part player because we'll bring in another striker. And it'll be the similar to like the Dibbling, no doubt, like to Timur Abunum, Asnu, who hasn't had any minutes. It'll be a case of trying to fit them in where possible. But if you're trying to win football matches, you need a player who's going to give 100% every week. And unfortunately, Barry hasn't done that. But Kev, I think hit the nail on the head. Technically, I think he's a better player and he's got more potential, 100%. But Beto suits Everton as we are right now. Still got that dogs of war in him. I still see it. Someone who just never gives up, always pressing, always, trying to pressurize the defenders. And it's a shame he's been out for the last couple of games because we could have done with him. Yeah, when he went off against Liverpool, the game changed. You know what I mean? And we didn't have that pressure up front. And then West Ham, there was not really much there. And I felt a bit harsh on Barry because he made some good runs. He tried his best at times, but he's lacking confidence. And that for me comes from the manager and the backroom staff to really get him up and going. But there's something going on. I think Rich might be right. I think there might be something going on. And maybe it's just he's a young man in a new country and he just can't settle, which we've seen happen many, many times in the Premier League. So
Jack Grealish, seeing pictures of him, obviously wasted, which he can do what he wants in his own time. But again, he's representing Everton Football Club. It's not a good look. So do we keep Jack Grealish? Do we keep him? Do we have him for next season? Or do we say thanks a lot, goodbye? Is he washed up? Is he finished?
He's nowhere near finished. We've missed him terribly. You look at the likes of West Ham on Saturday. After we scored, we need someone like Jack to slow the game down, bit more game management, but we didn't have it. Same again against Liverpool. When we scored that first goal and it gets disallowed, it was just chaos. And you need a Jack Grealish who's going to buy your fouls, slow the game down. You've only got to look at the amount of fouls. He's a proven winner. He's won the Premier League, won the Champions League. He was with them when he won the Champions League, wasn't he? He did on the quad. So, for me, it's a no-brainer. If we can get him back on a loan or a cheap buy, then it's a no-brainer. And just to touch on his recent antics, I'm not bothered because his season's over. He's probably a bit gutted, a bit down, and it's not the fact that he's on the ale. It's the people around him that are taking the pictures and posting them online. They're the problem. It's not, he's only human. He's always said he enjoys a drink, which is fair enough. Everyone's allowed to enjoy the drink. He does the business on the pitch, but it's the people around him that he wants to be looking at. because there's no way that picture should have got out.
For me, I'd like us for us to keep Jack Grealish. Whether or not I'd want us to buy him, I think we'd perhaps be better getting another loan deal, especially given the latest injury. If we buy him, we're stuck with him then. If he's on loan to us, if the injury does flare up again, if it's, when he does come back, he's not quite the player Jack Grealish was, we can offload him back to City. So for me, if we're going to keep him, I'd like to see it on another loan deal rather than a purchase, if that makes sense. Touching on the latest photos that we've seen of him, once again, similar to Adam, I've not really got a problem with it. He's not playing for us at the moment. If we were in a relegation battle, if we had a cup final around the corner, if, like we are, we're fighting for European place and he's out on the AL, not fit to play, or when he is playing, he's nowhere near his best, I'd have a few more words to say about it. And I think everybody's opinion would be slightly different. But yeah, for me, if we're going to go for him, I think we'd be better trying to get another loan deal, just given the injuries and his age, rather than a buy at this moment in time.
I think what we've got at the moment in the squad, missing Jack Grealish is a huge miss. I think the drop between him and everyone else that's available is massive. You look at what McNeil can offer. Dibbling, obviously, we've not seen much of, but what we've seen is obviously, again, young lad potential possibly. But in terms of what we've currently got that we can replace Jack Grealish with, it's nowhere near. So I would agree with Rich in terms of, from a financial point of view and from a business point of view, I think a loan for next season would be the best idea. But I think from a football point of view, I don't think there's a question as to whether we should keep him for another year, certainly, because unless they've got other options coming up, we've got nothing else below him in terms of, obviously, Ndai and Dewsbury Hall, but behind that, I don't think we've got anything else anywhere near. And he offers so much in terms of carrying the ball up the pitch, slowing the game down, holding the ball up the pitch, bringing fouls in, game management, that sort of stuff. I think he's much better than anything else we've got to come in and replace him. So I think without a question, the same again with the drinking side of things. I think if the reason why Grealish is really liked as a player, as a person, and as a personality, and he brings so much, I think, to the club in terms of his personality and his social media presence and that sort of thing, is because of who he is. And because he's seen as a normal person who connects with people, he's a very a human side to him. And unfortunately, part of that is he is like the rest of us, and a lot of people who, he's in a bit of a situation. He's probably feeling down. He's not having a good time. He's not playing football. He's out on the drink. And same as Adam says, whoever's taking the pictures and whoever's letting him get out is the problem. And if he's not playing football, then it's not affecting us. He's not available to play football, so it's not affecting us. More on a human, personal level, it's not great for the fella if he's getting himself in that state. But I don't have an issue on a footballing point of view because he's not playing, so he's not affecting what happens. So that's my view on it.
I also don't think he's out doing it every weekend either. I think that is just, we've not seen much of it when he's been at Everton.
No.
There's a reason City got rid of him, though. And I think it could be because what he does off the pitch. And I think Pep doesn't like that. He likes professionalism, doesn't he? And there's a few players he just bins off. Because for me, I mean, all right, they've got Doku on the left wing, but to have Jack as well, to let him just go, and not many. There wasn't that many clubs in for him. There wasn't that many. So I don't know if there's something else going on there. I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate here, trying to look at both sides.
I want him to stay because I think he gets the club, he gets the fan base. He's already connected to us. Like a fan favourite always does. You mentioned Richarlison before and his antics on the pitch is, a little bit unnerving for other fan bases. He gets, the shithousery kind of element, which is what Bruno Fernandes does maybe at United now to a lot of teams. But we loved it. And I still think there's a association there, and hopefully that maybe can be rekindled in the future. But Jack Grealish just gets it, and I'm not disagreeing with anything anyone said. He's a quality player on his day. But there's a part of me, and it's like a business part of me maybe, and I think Rich has hit the nail on the head and Kev backed it up, is that it's got to make sense to the club. He runs out of contract June 27 with City. So they spent 100 million on him, 5 seasons ago now, was it? Maybe, give or take, 5 seasons ago. record sale at the time for English player. His stats don't probably tell the full story because his goals and assists aren't great wherever he's been. Even the Championship at Bury, he wasn't, breaking any records, but he offers so much more than that, doesn't he? I think he's still one of our best players on stats wise in terms of carries, fouls won, assists, or creativity point of view. He's still up there. And he's been out for God knows how many months now. Do you know what I mean? So it shows what an impact he's had, and we have missed him. You're right, but I'm looking at it from another point of view, and our model has to change eventually. We can't keep buying players who are coming to the end of their expiry date. Let's put it that way, because wingers don't last at 34, 35. Not with his lifestyle. He's not in the same mold of a Ribery or a Robin who are playing for 38, 39 at the top, highest level, because he's not going to be ever at the highest level ever again. We're not going to be winning in the Champions Leagues or league titles in the next 2 or 3 seasons. So he's understood that. He's probably had a frank talk with Pep, and he probably told him, "You got to go because you're not in my plans." So I think we need to be very careful what we wish for in terms of what he can offer, and I think he needs to have a frank discussion with himself and David Moyes and the team and see what the crack is. Because if we can get 2 good seasons out of him, we'll be back in Europe. If we don't, we've wasted a lot of money on a player when there's another model out there, and you look at the likes of Bournemouth and Brentford who are bringing these and Brighton bringing in players and we never even heard of before, and they're hitting the ground running. There's so many good players out there, and everyone's saying there isn't. There are so many. We just we're so single-minded and narrow-minded. Just to let's go and get the kind of the has-beens, if you like. Because John Stones is linked again. He's 31, injury-prone to death, and he's like Everton. I think I'd love him back if he's prime, doing Maradona turns in his own box. Great, yeah, but we need to be a model that's going to win football matches. And
the question is Europe. Obviously, we all want Europe as fans, but realistically, with the constraints of PSR, and obviously it changes next season, the rules and regulations. Are we jumping? Are we running before we walk here, getting Europe this season, or should we give it another year and see how we fare with a bigger squad?
I think if Europe's available this year, go for it. Obviously, it brings in money itself. You attract a better player. If it's available, go for it.
In the season, I said that for me, Europe, I didn't think European football was a good thing for Everton Football Club. Not with the squad we've got. I said if we get European football, it's going to stretch the squad. We haven't got a big squad. It would stretch us too much. Players will become tired. We needed to concentrate more on moving up the table within the Premier League, and let's have a go at silverware. I said that beginning of the season.
I remember you saying that, and I just want to jump in because Rich is going to say before. I'm going to say before he does. Trophies bring you Europe.
Get in there. Obviously there is Europa Conference. Get in there. We're a big club. We're a big name. We've got a few good players with a bit of stature now. If we get into Europe, we'll be able to attract a few more. And I think we proved we can sign players. Last season we got a few in. We some good, some not so good. But I think we can get players in, and I don't think why we shouldn't go for Europe and shouldn't want to be in Europe in some way. And I think we can get some more players in, and I think we should go for it. We'll be at the cups in the 3rd round anyway, won't we?
Yeah.
So we'll have plenty of midweek games.
Europe, mate. Europe. Come on, who's saying no to Europe? Let's be real. Is Europe 100%? It brings in the better quality of player. That's simple as. Gets you more money. It gets your name out there. Let's go for it. Champions League all the way, lads. Go on.